Hello, everybody, and I would like to thank my wonderful subscribers. Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of watching 4 disturbing true trespassing horror stories. And the third story is brought to us by Obvious Torch. Let's see what happened to him. And do this shit.
I went to a quarry in McKinney, Texas, and I will never go back there again after what happened to me. Here's a little backstory, so this will make sense.
Okay, real
The
photo.
first time I went to this quarry, it was pretty sketchy.
How?
Me and a couple of my friends, Josh and Miles, went to this quarry for cliff jumping, since we had seen some YouTube videos of people cliff jumping at it, and we...
Okay. I've never been cliff diving or cliff jumping, and I don't plan to because I have ear infections whenever I get water in my ears too badly. So I'm probably never gonna do it.
found out that it was only about a half hour away from where we lived.
Yeah, to you.
Both Miles and I are old enough to drive, me being 16 and Miles being 17.
Okay.
So we thought that it would be a really good idea to go.
Independent.
Once we got to the quarry, it had a really sketchy vibe to it.
How?
There was a small dirt road that led up to the quarry, which made a circle around it. To the left were these ghetto-looking white buildings, which were pretty much just white metal boxes.
Wow.
And to the right was the fence that surrounded the rock path that led to the quarry. We drove down this road in Miles' Jeep, and there were tons of signs saying stuff like no trespassing or warning, blasting zone.
Okay,
and there was even this big white piece of cardboard that read, trespassers will be shot on sight.
Okay, I think when I read that, I would immediately stop. Also, like, how dangerous does your place need to be where, like, trespasser will be shot on sight? I guarantee you that they do not actually do that unless there's a reason.
It's important to note that in Texas, people can legally shoot you if you're on their property, but it just doesn't really happen much. We decided to drive back to the beginning of the road where there was this gravel parking lot by an old building which looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Miles parked the car, and we all reluctantly got out of the car and began our walk to the quarry.
Okay.
While we were walking, a truck drove right past us, and the driver just kind of looked at us with a blank expression on his face.
Oof.
Honestly, it was pretty scary when the car passed us, but the fact that he didn't do anything made us think maybe they don't care too much if we're on their property.
Yeah.
We kept on walking.
Maybe.
And then we came to the fence where we were supposed to jump to get onto the rock path that led to the quarry.
You did do it, or are you pussy? We went to the smallest
cliff jumping spot first, and saw a pretty big snake swimming in the water after the first 10 minutes of being there. So we decided to wander further down the quarry where we saw a decent-sized cliff.
Are you kidding me? The second I saw a snake in the water, and the second I'm not going in the water anymore.
About 35 feet. After depth checking it, we spent about an hour cliff jumping there before we got bored and moved on to the next cliff.
Not much you can do when you're done
of the quarry. We were walking down a path to get to a bigger spot when we saw a black Hummer stop.
No.
The lady in the Hummer was probably in her mid-30s. She rolled down the window and yelled, "What the f*** are you doing on my property?"
Yeah,
right. It honestly kind of shocked us all, and I responded with saying in an innocent voice, "What do you mean? We thought this was public property." She knew we were lying straight to her face and yelled at us some more. Then she said something that I'll never forget. She picked up her phone and said, "John, get the gun." Me, Miles, and Josh all froze.
Yeah.
We were scared to death. She said to follow her and drove slowly down the path about 20 feet to a gate.
I'm sorry, she said to you? Like, she was talking to you and said, "Hey, kid, follow me." No. The second I hear that is the second I'm going the opposite direction. Maybe I'm hoping that I can run away far enough from John and his gun. Like, no, that's crazy.
We decided to follow her. We were all saying that we were so sorry and that we would never come back again. And she let us go after saying the cops are on their way, so you better haul ass that way before we get here. And pointed towards the dirt path that led us away from her property.
Good.
We told her thank you and ran faster than any of us thought we could. Then we got in the Jeep and drove away.
Adrenaline's a hell
of a drug. I wish
this
was the end of the story, but it isn't.
It's a hell of a
couple of months later, Miles asked me if I would ever go to the quarry again.
No.
And I reluctantly told him that if we had a bigger group together, then I would go.
Why? You think having a bitter loop, it doesn't make you more powerful than the done? No! She already gave you mercy once. She can't keep giving people mercy, okay?
We got a group of 5 together.
Oh my god.
We went back to the quarry in my car.
That's not a lot bigger.
I drove, and after about an hour, we arrived at a church, which we would be parking at, which was about 2 minutes away from the quarry.
Okay.
We didn't want the lady somehow seeing our car and getting our license plate number. We walked down the dirt road that led to the quarry and passed by a few cars. One car stopped next to us, and a guy who was probably in his early 20s told us to watch out for a black Hummer.
Oh.
We laughed and told him the story of what happened the first time that we went to the quarry.
What did he say?
And we were back to walking down the dirt road.
Oh.
We jumped the fence that surrounded the quarry and decided we would just go to the second spot
so
that we would at least be a tiny bit out of sight of the dirt road. We were at the spot for about an hour and having fun when a silver van pulls up at the end of the dirt road about 25 yards away.
Silver van.
It wasn't the black Hummer, so we weren't running away just yet, but we were getting our stuff ready in case we had to run.
Yeah.
It was for the most part out of our sight due to trees being in between us and the van. We waited there for about a minute and thought that the guy was just doing something in the car when we heard 2 loud gunshots really close to us. The gunshot scared us half to death.
Yeah, I bet.
The exit of the quarry was not very close, probably about 300 yards. About 125 yards to get on the main dirt road, which led off the property. I led the way, with my friend Aiden trailing not far behind me. I heard more gunshots.
You didn't lead the way. You just ran the fastest.
It's about 40 yards away, and it sounded like he had shot about 8 shots so far.
Yeah.
But when I looked back, I couldn't see the guy who was shooting at us. We got to the fence and jumped it, and we were now on the main dirt road that led to the exit. Out of pure luck, the guy we had talked to earlier, who had warned us about the black Hummer, was in his white truck on the dirt road.
Are you gonna ask him for a
ride? We begged him for a ride, and he gave us a ride back to the end of the property.
Good.
We thanked him and then ran back to the car. We all got in the car and drove away, never to see that quarry again.
I'm sorry. No, I don't feel that bad for you guys. I mean, it said trespassers will be shot on sight. And then the lady let you guys off with a warning. And then you guys decide to come back completely disregarding her mercy of you. Yeah, you're lucky that he was whoever shot you had a poor aim. Shot at you. Okay, story number 4 is by Ralphie. Let's hear it, Ralphie. Give me the story, Ralph. Give me it. Let me eat it.
Back in 2018, my cousin Ryan and I were really into urban exploration. We had been to old factories, shuttered schools, and forgotten farmhouses that looked like they were one good windstorm away from collapsing. We were not stupid about it. We checked floors before walking on them, wearing masks where there might be asbestos, and avoided any place that seemed like it might be actively guarded. Still, there was one place we'd been talking about for months that neither of us had worked up the nerve to try. The big abandoned house on the shore of Lake Harlow.
Never heard of it.
The kind of property you only ever saw from a distance, sitting far back from the main road behind a set of tall iron gates that had been bent inward years ago.
Yeah?
Pines and brush had grown wild around the driveway, hiding most of the place unless you caught a glimpse through the trees while driving past. Local rumors about the place were endless. The most common story was that a wealthy family had lived there in the 90s before suddenly disappearing.
Okay.
People claimed they left in the middle of the night without taking anything. Furniture, clothes, dishes, even family photos were supposedly still inside.
Wow.
Theories ranged from financial ruin to witness protection to something even darker.
No one
had ever bought it afterward, and the property had just sat there decaying for more than 2 decades.
Long time.
The afternoon we went, the weather was gray and still. We parked at a hiking trailhead about a half mile from the property, and we walked in through the woods to avoid being seen from the road. As we got closer, the roofline appeared through the trees, and I realized just how big the place really was.
How big?
3 stories with tall windows and a wide wraparound porch,
nice.
All in various stages of rot. Paint peeled off in long strips like sunburnt.
I mean, obviously, I mean nice. as in the size. Not nice as in the physical appearance. It looks horrific now.
Skin and sections of the porch sagged inward. We circled around to the back, moving quietly in case there was anyone nearby. The back door was unlocked, and the moment we stepped inside, the air changed. The air was still and smelled faintly of lake water and dust. The kitchen was the first thing we saw.
Yeah?
It looked like a movie set, frozen in time. Plates were stacked neatly on the counter, and a coffee cup with a brown ring of dried residue sat beside the sink.
Oh.
The cabinet stood open, showing old boxes of food that were long expired. A faded calendar on the wall still hung open to May 1997.
Wow.
We moved through the downstairs slowly. The living room still had furniture draped in yellowed sheets. The fireplace was still filled with crumbling ash, like the last fire had burned out decades ago. Family photos were hung in the hallway, with people smiling at barbecues and dressed up for Christmas. Honestly, I got the chills for some reason as I looked at these photos. There was something eerie about seeing cheery family photos in a long-abandoned house.
Yeah.
Some of the photos had sun-faded so badly that their faces were almost ghostly white.
Oh. Sleepy.
Upstairs is where things started to feel off.
What do you mean?
The first bedroom we entered had a perfectly made bed, but all the dresser drawers were open and completely empty. Another
they ran away in the middle of the night. That makes sense.
room's floor was entirely covered with newspapers from 1997.
That's
Each one
weird.
folded open to the classified ads section. I didn't think much of it until I noticed the dates. They were all from within the same week in July, and every circled ad was for private buyers looking for quiet transactions. The master bedroom was the strangest. The heavy curtains were drawn shut, but when I pulled them back, I found the windows had been boarded over from the inside.
Oh.
The closet door had a rusted padlock on it, and the floor in front of it was scratched.
Wait,
as
the
if someone had
padlock.
tried to drag something heavy out but couldn't. Ryan wanted to force it open, but I talked him out of it. We didn't have tools, and I wasn't eager to break something in a place where we weren't supposed to be.
Yeah.
He suggested we check the basement before leaving.
Okay.
The basement door was in a narrow hallway off the kitchen.
Wait, no, what am I saying? No, don't do that. That's crazy.
When we opened it, a wave of damp, cool air came up that smelled strongly of mildew. The stairs were wooden. Each step down creaked like it might give way under us. The basement was big, with thick stone walls and wooden shelves along one side. Most were empty, except for a few rusted cans and a broken lantern. But in the center of the room, illuminated in our flashlight beams, were 5 chairs, all mismatched and old, but arranged in a perfect circle.
Nope.
Unlike everything else in the house, they weren't dusty.
Oh.
The seats looked recently used.
Nope.
I was about to whisper something to Ryan, and we both froze. Somewhere above us, a door closed. The sound was clear as day, and it was followed by footsteps crossing the floor above. We killed our lights instantly and stood in the dark, barely breathing. The footsteps paused, then started again, moving toward the hallway above the basement.
Nope.
My heart was pounding so hard, I could hear it in my ears.
Nope.
We hadn't seen any cars outside. We hadn't heard anyone else since we got here.
God.
Whoever was up there hadn't made a sound until now. The footsteps stopped again, this time directly above the basement door. Then, the sound of the door handle rattling made my blood run cold.
What?
Ryan grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the far end of the basement where a small ground-level window sat broken and half covered by a rotting shutter.
Oh, you can use that, maybe.
It was barely big enough to fit through, but we didn't care. I went first, scraping my jacket on the glass, dropping down into damp dirt outside. Ryan was right behind me. We sprinted into the tree line, not daring to look back until we were well into the woods. When I finally did glance over my shoulder, I saw the basement door wide open and someone standing in it. They were too far away to make out any details, just tall and still. It looked like their head was tilted slightly, like they were watching us. We didn't stop running until we reached the car. Both of us were so disturbed that we barely even spoke on the car ride home. That night, I just kept replaying it in my head.
What?
Everything from the chairs, to the footsteps, to the locked closet. And then that horrifying image of that figure on the porch. So a couple weeks later, Ryan called me and told me that after he made a post in a Facebook group asking if anyone knows about the history of that house, an older guy responded to his post saying that there have been sightings of someone in that house. And the first guess would of course be a squatter. However, that wouldn't explain the strange, almost ritualistic-looking circle of chairs in the basement. At this point, it's not my problem to worry about.
Yeah.
Just happy we
got
out of there in one piece.
If I had to guess what those homeless people... if I had to guess what the chairs were about, either it's a bunch of homeless people, because, sometimes homeless people like to loop up in those communities. Either that, or it's a cult, or some sort of loop. To be honest, not much happened, so it could be anybody, a bunch of people who need somewhere to sit down for a minute. They see a house, they decide to, go into the basement, set up some chairs. It could be a cult, could be a homeless person, could just be people who needed somewhere to sit. But, that will have to do it for this episode of Mr. Nightmare. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!